I guess we're going to mulligan this. Last seen 23 days ago on Domain Zoo. Maybe we can get the detection towers to work here. I guess we'll keep this. Yeah, I know. Like Wand would be awesome in the deck. Double blue is very tough. I do think you could maybe play a more red version of like the Is It build we had, and I was kind of messing with that, like one that's like playing DRC and Ragavan instead of Tamio, one that's like a kind of more like a mid-range blue-red deck that isn't playing much counter magic. But then Subtlety is also so good with the shuffles that I wanted to play Subtlety also, and then I felt like I was kind of low on blue searches, so I guess that's where I was at. Okay, so they rumble, probably playing against Yogg. I love that Yogg is just kind of back. Our Yogg matchup's maybe not all that good, but I love that Yogg is back. They do choose a Yawgmoth. Another matchup where Discharge better than Bolt, by the way, I guess. It's magic if you cast Hit Run. I've cast Hit Run. Hit Run's good. Oh, that's probably all their basics. That's kind of interesting. They also don't have double black for Yogg. We might be able to keep them off double black. And they kind of get punished for taking the Yogg at all. They Cauldron onto Dryad Arbor. Or the Cauldron Dryad Arbor onto Scion. I do have two Price of Freedoms. One of them can hit the Cauldron. We know they have a Yogg in their hand, so I feel like cutting them off of their black mana is probably a bigger priority for me this turn. Although, let's see what this is. Green Sun for... Oh, Ballista for one, sure. So yeah, let's kill the Swamp this turn, and then we can kill the Cauldron next turn. And I'm definitely pretty tempted to kill the Spawn. It's like -2 mana for them. Seems fine. So your Gruul Prowess list, trying out Firebending Student. Have I considered utilizing the spicy new Lesson Wishboard using the red learn instant from Strixhaven? I thought Academic Dispute was a sorcery, so that's good, definitely to point out. Second Ballista. I wonder if they'll ping in Cauldron. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I would love to do a really interesting build with Firebending Student that wasn't just prowess. You know, it doesn't exactly seem like there's a lot of people trying to play the prowess version of the deck, so maybe it's important that we play the prowess version again. But it doesn't seem like the highest priority either, I guess. Well, lucky that they drew two basics, huh? This being able to kill Cauldron and Steel Cutter and Amulet's just so nice. Ruby Medallion. Their hand is Yogg, two mystery cards. They do have a second Cauldron. We don't have a third Price of Freedom yet. We could Pinnacle Monk Price of Freedom, but the problem is the Cauldron would just get to exile it, so let's play Legend of Roku. We hit another Price of Freedom, but this turn we'll go Peak Channeler. No creatures in graveyards for them to Cauldron. They could maybe get rid of my Field of Ruin, so I'm one short of Delirium, or one more away from Delirium. Instead, I guess this makes sense. Kill the Channeler with the Ballista, get the Ballista Cauldroned. They Cauldron the Channeler instead to turn off Delirium, okay. I guess this already has Ballista's ability. This turn they rumble and they mill over a Yawgmoth, and they mill over a Young Wolf, which is pretty devastating because they can cast Young Wolf and then they can Cauldron Yawgmoth and then they can draw like 3 cards. Insane rumble. So they hit me. I'm down to 8. I imagine they draw some cards. Wait, they didn't? Did they not? They didn't play a land this turn. Okay, yeah, that was a big mistake. They could have hit their land drop. All right, we make a red mana. Time to control the board. Oh, I guess doesn't matter. Didn't mean to make a black. I don't know. Force to habit, I guess. So I guess I kill the Ballista now so they can't keep sacking stuff. Or they can't sack the Young Wolf again. They can sack. And then they're gonna ping me down to 5. And they got a 2/2 Young Wolf. We'll see what we draw off the Price of Freedom here. Pretty reasonable draw. I think we'll just go ahead and we could play the other Legend of Roku, I guess, but killing a land and heating the Young Wolf so I don't go down to 3 seems kind of good too. Might as well wait a beat on the heat. I'm not a Yogg player, but if they had Exile Ballista last turn with Cauldron, wouldn't they have been able to kill us with both Ballista and Yogg, Exile with Cauldron, Young Wolf Looping? So Young Wolf Looping doesn't do anything by itself. You need to have the 2 mana enchantment in play to gain infinite life or something to that effect. This doesn't give them double black. I think I just care about my life total, not going down to 3. We can also Pinnacle Monk and kill the Cub this turn if we want. I think it doesn't make sense to kill the Earthbent land. Alright, now let me sack the Vexing Bauble, see if we find anything else. But I'll probably just Field of Ruin the Boseiju. Welt with the 23 months, thank you, welcome back. It didn't need to loop infinitely. Oh yeah, they could have just paid 1 life to draw a card. Which I mean they should have drawn some cards, at least on their turn. They missed their land drop. They have 3 mana here. Is there a reason to play Flashfire Boil? I think it's a little bit better against the Blink decks, right? I think they play more planes than islands, and then also Boros Synergy. It's good against them. I don't know that I boarded it against Leyline Scion. Maybe you play 1. Maybe you play 2. But yeah, Boros and Prowess or Blink. Yeah, control. I mean, Boil's better against control. Alright, 2 removal spells, pretty good. Oh, sorry. I guess I probably should have attacked with Roku first, Use the mana from the Roku on this. Are they playing Court of Calling? I feel like I haven't seen almost any Court of Callings. Get a Young Wolf. So if they chump block the Roku, I'll discharge the Young Wolf. I guess we'll just go ahead and poke this one. Sure. Was the 4/5 that destroys and stuns the land not good? I mean, I think Roku is just better on the curve, yeah. I mean, yeah, we're also very much in testing new card zone, but I think like that one is kind of high on the curve. I like the card, maybe there's a way to like play Birthing Ritual with it in this kind of shell. But I feel like you want to be playing Birthing Ritual with Hellkite. Okay, so we make a mana off the Legend of Roku. I think we can double field them here, right? We get to go make a mana, cast Pinnacle Monk, grab a Price of Freedom, and I'm going to use the Roku mana to sink into the Field of Ruin, and then probably also sack the Vexing Bauble. All right, they pack it in. Nice, very grindy. Roku's been really good, I think. I think we play the Fire Magics against them. I kind of been waffling a little bit back and forth. Seems like a fine card to play. I'm gonna cut all the Ragavans and all the Vexing Baubles. Yeah, didn't make any dragons that game. Seemed like it wasn't the right call. Like they're just so bad at killing the the Roku. We'll get there eventually. Redirect Lightning seems like it could be good in this deck as a way to fight through counterspells. I don't know if counterspells are particularly good against us, but we did have Redirect Lightning in the first draft of this deck, and it did not perform particularly well. We haven't played against Titan today. We did play against it with the earlier draft. Weird hand, painful hand. Let's keep them. Puts on a multi 6. Yeah, if Belcher's more popular, I think it makes more sense. If there's a lot of removal in the format, maybe it makes more sense too. Well, goodbye a Pinnacle Monk, I assume. Although they're on a mold of 6 in the play. I don't usually mind getting Thoughtseize so much. We're pretty likely to draw a second land since we're on the draw with the Bauble. Maybe they take the Fire Magic if their hand's particularly weak to it. But yeah, I think we're just always getting -1 monked here. We can play around another Thoughtseize. I guess Bowmaster is going to be good against us no matter what. It would be kind of a disaster if we drew another MDFC and they Thoughtseized it, right? Cauldron, okay. So we could Price of Freedom that if we draw a land. So that it'll ramp them. Seems like the move. You get a card, I get a card, you get a land. It's all comes out in the wash. If we had put the Detection Tower in the yard, we would have had Delirium, but I do think the third land's probably a little bit more important than Delirium here. Get ready to rumble. They hit a Yawgmoth, a Young Wolf, a Forest, another rumble. They take the Yawgmoth pretty dang fast. Then they play a Young Wolf. So a Fire Magic could be okay, but we would need Delirium first, really. I think I'm going to kill the Spymaster's Vault. So if I graveyard this, then if they kill my DRC with Yawgmoth, I can Unholy Heat the Yawgmoth. They keep a card on top. Their hand is Yawgmoth, 2 mystery cards. They liked one of them. They're going to combat. I might just block this Young Wolf. Oh, they have Court of Calling? Interesting. Court for 3? One thing that's interesting is if they don't have another black source, I can just wildfire them off the ability to to cast the Yawgmoth. I'm assuming they're going to get Endurance. So let's go to second main phase, make them cord, presumably for Endurance. Maybe they would get a Bowmaster, but that would play really hard into my Fire Magic. You can't tap spawn and sack it for Court of Calling. Or yeah, because it then like ceases to exist. Yeah, so they get the Endurance. So we're going to go to our second main phase and try to just cut them off black mana. Wait, they didn't get a land off the... I guess one of their cards in their hand is another forest. Oh no, they milled the other forest, sorry. They milled it off of the rumble, I missed that. And a very important thing to pay attention to. So now, if they do draw a black source, they do have to sack the spawn token to get Yawgmoth, which means that if they want to start like looping Young Wolf, they have to sack Endurance. Not the biggest deal ever. They do have a Grist. And they sack the Young Wolf to kill my Channeler. Would it be worth to put a few indestructible lands for ramping with Wildfire and others? So the Wildfire is the only one that ramps. The other ones don't ramp. Oh, I guess Sundering Eruption technically does, but I don't know how often you're doing that. But, one issue. I guess let's go and kill the forest since this is putting them down to 1 land here. Probably will just not block. If they do block, the heat will kill the Young Wolf and the and the endurance. Although we maybe should just be killing Young Wolf anyways. We could use. I guess we could use the fire magic. No, the fire magic my token dies. So, but each time you add like a Darksteel Citadel, you're cutting a different colorless utility land, and I think I'd rather just play Fields and Detection Tower. Very Ponza, very Ponza vibes. Just getting to play like an MDFC Stone Rain is so cool. Also, 5-land Ragavan Steel Cutter on the draw with 2 fields. Pretty marginal. Wouldn't Tunnel Ingus be good sideboard tech considering we can force the trigger for them? Ingus isn't really very good against Titan in my testing. I think I know why you think it would be. You know, it's like I think it's one of these things in theory. It seems really nice. In practice, it's just kind of not that tough for them to get an Odawara and bounce it on the turns where they're popping off. It's like if they have a turn 3, like if they have no extra resources to pop off, it can stop them. But if they just have like an extra Titan or an extra like little bit, it's just not enough to stop them. So I mostly think you should just be playing Magus as a card that actually just locks him down until it dies. And also it's very hard to Odawara Magus. Ooh, they're playing the Wang Shitong deck. Cool. Hope we don't get a Ragavan Bowmastered. Well, this is tough, especially because our price of freedom's not looking too good here. I might just take the Bowmaster trigger so I can be mana efficient this turn. I don't know if I love this, but I think it's okay. We 4-1 the first league. Beat Prowess twice, lost to Prowess, beat Tron, and beat Kethis combo. I hope they're playing just our build of the Dimir Wang Shitong deck. I think of all the decks we've been working on post Avatar, this is one that's maybe just kind of flown under the radar. Collected Conjuring. I wonder if we could play Collected Conjuring. Is combo a big concern for the meta? Titan's kind of the only top combo deck at the moment. We have played Collected Conjuring before, funny enough. I think I sacked the Bauble. They probably have subtleties if they're playing something similar to our build, but I think we just gotta get Delirium, get the churn going. Need their Legend of Roku to resolve. Here's the 32. Thank you. Welcome back. It's been a while. Good to see you in the chat. Okay, it does resolve. So maybe they have a subtlety in there. Just awkward my position. Yeah, I know. I'll try to mess with it tonight. Why is Storm so bad? I do think Storm is probably great at the moment. People just aren't really playing it much. I think Storm would be an excellent choice for the current metagame, but it's just not. It's not one of the more popular decks. There are some problems for it, like general consistency and maybe like Boros is playing a lot of high noons in the sideboard for the prowess matchup. That could be something that's happening. If we just outgrind us with the Legend of Roku's, it's going to feel really dang good. I do think we might get this Channeler subtletied. So they Cling to Dust my Bauble to remove Delirium. Really good play. Let's see if we find Delirium again. They go ahead and already discard an island, which is interesting. This does not give Delirium. I guess we got a YOLO. Look for a land or enchantment or artifact. No, oh no! Oh, I clicked yield to all. It finally got me. So if this has 6 more damage on it, that's 8, and then they don't have enough to discard, so I guess it's not that different. Although it's better against a counter spell. Okay, we find the artifact, so got by the yield to all. I thought I clicked no response instead. Oh, they can Field of Ruin and then discard their whole hand. Probably can't beat that. Okay, thankfully, I don't get too punished for the misclick there. Probably attacking for 4. It's possible that they go Flash and Subtlety, and I need to block here. Yeah, probably just a bit too behind to attack. Like, we're gonna win this game with Legend of Roku, or we're gonna get tempoed here. All right, so got rewarded for leaving the token back, blocking like this. Now, I'm not going to be able to make a dragon. Oh, I can make a dragon if I equip the Steel Cutter onto the Roku. Maybe I die to a Fatal Push. Yeah, we're dead to the Field of Ruin. You have to search off field. It's not a May ability. Dead to Fatal Push anyways. Save me, Avatar Roku. I think this is our first dragon, right? Or we were going to make a dragon, then the opponent conceded. Aya Veldlar. Got a lot of cards in their hand. So we have to search because it's a Field of Ruin. If or when they Demolition Field, we don't have to. Not that we're dead to a Bowmaster, we're dead to a Fatal Push. Maybe there's another card I'm not thinking of. Removal spell, right? Okay, that on the list. All right, not a lot of sideboard for the matchup, which is maybe a problemo. I'm glad to see the Dimir Wand deck doing well. Like I think we're gonna play it on Friday in the challenge. The Ragavans are definitely very bad against Bowmaster. Fire Magic is kind of good against Bowmaster. Fire Magic also kills Wand sometimes. They play 4 Bowmaster. Yeah, I think I'll play the Fire Magics. Could play Ghost Vacuum also. It's not particularly good. Kind of like almost mostly here just as like a late game getcha. The Baubles are fine against Subtlety. Probably just play a Ragavan on the play instead of the Ghost Vacuum. Are the Maguses fine to turn off fields? The Maguses are kind of fine, yeah. You know what? A Magus is probably better than a Ragavan. Just like a random cheese of Magus. Ragavan on the play is solid. Yeah, it's okay on the play, but it's just not great against the Bowmaster deck, right? Right, on the play. We have no red lands, so I guess we have to mulligan. I'm going to keep this. I think I'm going to put back the Discharge. It's a little weird, but if they're playing our build, they're playing 4 basics. I think being kind of mana efficient turn 2, digging with the Channeler is fine. Is Legend of Roku our 4 mana Grandy card for the Grandy matchups? Kind of, yeah. Honestly, like, you know, I as much as I've always like chat talk these kind of cards for the grindy matchups, modern just is becoming more where you want these kind of effects to go over the top of grindy matchups. The format is like insanely grindy. Okay, our line was bad against Fetch Land Pass. So Sky Bison are the airbender animal, Badger Mole the earthbending, dragons are firebending. What animal was the OG waterbenders? In the lore, the moon is the OG waterbender. They graveyard a frog, so maybe they needed their second land, or maybe they already had a frog. Maybe they have a Bowmaster. So I'm gonna expect them to have a Bowmaster here. I'm gonna Wildfire. They might have Wan Chitong instead. Although honestly, like Sea Serpents, I feel like would have been the cooler Waterbender teacher. All right, happy enough with that. Seems like maybe they just needed to land off the surveil. I'm gonna go to graveyard another wildfire, I guess. So the waterbending was kind of a flop. It was definitely a mechanic that they were playing really scared with. There weren't really too many pushed waterbending cards. I think the blue white Aang is playable. I have liked that card a lot, but finding a home for it's been tough. It even kind of makes me want to play Collected Company. um, and don't get your hopes up necessarily, but we might see that happen. So they're playing Snare. I was playing Pierce instead of Snare. So if it's possible that they're just on snares and not pierces, and this Legend of Roku is really safe to resolve. I'm gonna hope that that's the case. I think I'm more likely to cast Pinnacle Monk than Sundering um, Eruption this game. I assume that Discharge plus Heat instead of a package like Bolt that could go straight to the face to deal with Riddler. I mean, Riddler less so than Frog. Frog and like mutagenic growth. Like Discharge is not really good at killing Riddler, but it's nice to, you can go, if your opponent goes turn 2 Frog, you can discharge it almost no matter what's in your hand, and you just get the 3 energy to bank for later. Would Azurius Energy be okay home for Blue White Aang? Yeah, I think it's okay. I think that Juan, it's tough to play Juan and Aang in Blue White Energy, but I do think it might just be the case you just want to play Aang, so maybe we'll play that. Maybe we'll play that Friday. Tomorrow I'm taking Thursday off for Thanksgiving, so I'm gonna be kind of jumping right into the challenge on Friday, I guess. They played explosives on 1, which I guess makes sense seeing this channeler here. I think we should still play it. And then let's cast this Bauble first. Now my Unholy Heat is not quite enough to kill the frog. They could discard their entire hand. So we're trying to look for another removal spell. Let me see what my top card is. It's a Steel Cutter. I don't think they're going to discard their whole hand. It's pretty risky. And then now I think I'm content to just draw the Steel Cutter. Steel Cutter also just equips the Roku next turn to start making dragons. Do you have family in town? I go travel over to my parents' house. Not too scary. So I'm down to 14. They've got 4 cards in their hand. 5 now. Does this mean you've changed your opinion on Roku? Yeah, I think I was wrong about the card. I think part of it feels like I think I've just generally been slow to adapt to how the format has changed, where now you're just so incentivized to play these big grindy cards in a way that feels really, really different. So they're making me sack my Roku in response. So I got a nice 4 for 1 off this, I guess. And then I'm going to grab the Unholy Heat, and I think I should play this as a land and then Heat to get the token. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe the main way I lose this game is to another frog. It's kind of hard to say. Like keeping this in hand is also so, like, it's just a nice 2 for 1 in a game that's gone pretty late. So I guess I'm gonna wait. Yeah, sagas are always tough to evaluate. I also think the blue saga, the that like scries, and then can like waterbend to take an extra turn. I think that card could be good too. I've been trying to figure out shells for that. If Avatar 4 for 1's this game and threatens exactly what it did last game and still loses, what does that tell us? Well, last game we were like too far behind on board to leverage Roku in time. It was close, but too far behind on board. I think Roku was like clearly incredibly good this game. I don't know. I don't think if we somehow lose this one, we should have a negative opinion of Roku, but it'll be interesting. He did sort of vanish when the world needed him most, which I've always found tainted his legacy some. They have a wand, maybe? Maybe another second Bowmaster. Okay, just a push. Draws a card off Cling. It's 6 damage right now. It seems like maybe they have a Fatal Push in their hand, and they are not thrilled about having to fetch Shock to Fatal Push. I'm going to go ahead and move a Steel Cutter over to the Monk. Roku got murked, Aang vanished. I don't want to hear any Roku erasure. Huh. In the intro, Roku's the one that vanishes. Alright, so they got 3 cards. They got a Cling to Dust up. I think they have a Fatal Push with like the amount of time they spent pausing there. So I guess we need to go cast Pinnacle Monk and not try to double heat this turn since they've got the Cling to Dust. Just like target a Price of Freedom. And then is it a spew to use this Unholy Heat? I think we might be running into a Wan Shi Tong. So if they have Wan Shi Tong plus push, they have a 2/2. They have a 3/3. You have a 3/3 that can go block my new token, and then they go. They still die. No, I have two new tokens. This is a 3/3. This is a 3/3. They push this one. I have 2 new tokens. They block one of them. They block one. They survive. So yeah, let's go ahead and play around one. It seems like they probably have one. Probably have one. I guess this is also lethal too, just with the trample if they do have one. Said they have a kicked consult the start charts. So far their build looks like identical to mine, but with snare over pierce. We haven't seen like really any other card we weren't playing or any other differences. I guess does anybody have strong feelings on the spell pierce versus spell snare conversation these days? I have been liking pierce a lot. No, it's not the most interesting convo. Okay, so we can heat for 4 damage and 2 tokens. That's probably worth it here. I like Pierce. Yeah, I've been liking Pierce also. Okay, game 3 on the draw. Yeah, 1/1 for Spell Pierce, 2/2 for Spell Snare, I guess. Serenade is better. Serenade is good, but Serenade isn't good in Dimir. Serenade, I think, is really good if you're playing Aang, if you're playing Feli, if you're playing Teferi, if you're playing Wand. I guess you have Wand and Dimir. But you need to have like a combination of those, I think. Usually 2 Pierce, 1 Snare. Yeah, it seems like a good split. Yeah, Serenade's pretty good with Phantom. I built Blue-White Spirits last night. I haven't posted a list, but it was pretty awkward that Serenade like blocks a lot of stuff in the deck, but I was thinking that it's like it would have been such a nice tool for the archetype. All right, gonna keep this on the draw for game 3 against Dimir. I think people are sleeping on Scolding with the split being... Yes, Scolding might just be good. There's just so many good options. Hope they play a Frog. Seems like they don't have a Bowmaster and they're going to Fatal Push the Channeler. They probably don't have Wan Shi Tong in their hand if they are thinking this long and they push. Because it would be... Yeah, they would never get Basic Swamp if they have a Wan. It's really interesting on Magic Online. You could figure out a decent amount about your opponent's hands just based on how long they take to make their decision. Any Sozin's Comet Brews? I think that card just like is way too win more. Like attacking with 2 creatures in Modern is not like a particularly easy thing to do, especially not when you have to spend 5 mana to foretell and then cast this card. But you know, it is a card that is capable of making a lot of mana, so it's not one that you want to just completely scoff at, of course. So I don't think they're very likely to have Bowmaster because they Fatal Push the Channeler. They're not very likely to have Frog because they didn't cast a Frog. They don't have Counterspell up. Yeah, I've seen the learn builds of Prowess. I don't know how good they are. I think it's going to be something we'll have to try at some point. They obviously might have just drawn Bowmaster, but I don't think they would be pushing Channeler very often if they had Bowmaster. Might have Cling to Dust. Yeah, it's pretty annoying. Would Steel Cutter be reasonable in the mono red Monument deck over 3 copies of Blood Moon? Yeah, I think we have played Steel Cutter in that deck. Certainly reasonable. All right, so they found a Frog. Maybe they had snare. Oh, well, they didn't snare the Wildfire. Maybe they just didn't need to. So let's play some chicken here. Maybe I shouldn't have played my land. So I'm going to keep that on top so I can cut them off black later. Then I guess I heat, so if they have a Spell Pierce, maybe I can just pay 0 energy. They do have Spell Pierce? Wow. So the good news is I get to pay the 0 energy. They have no cards in their hand. This still cuts them off black mana. Yeah, I think that's still going to be a card to keep on top for me. Maybe a little slow, but we're at 20 life. We have the Legend of Roku to give us the extra mana the following turn. They do have Cling to Dust also. They've got a new card and another card, of course, off the Frog. Yeah, but I would love for like the learn board to be a part of Modern. I think it could be a thing in these Prowess decks long term. I think just having 2 spells naturally is so nice. I had kind of decided to regulate trying to figure out the learn stuff until after the new Strixhaven set came out, but maybe it should be more of a priority to work on. So there's Delirium. Okay, and then there's a Galvanic Discharge, which can deal 6 damage to the Frog, so they would have to discard all but one of their cards that's in their hand and in their hand next turn. We're going to have 5 mana without playing an MDFC, 6 mana if we do play an MDFC next turn. They play a field, which means I guess they could Cling to Dust to still save the Frog. Oh, they also have the Frog draw. Sorry, forgot the Frog draw. The Beam Dream will be turn 1 Lab, Foretell Comet, Big K command, turn 3 or so, make 20, 25 mana, 15 mana with Comet, second K command into Emrakul. No, that would be nice. You know, it's just so tough that your dream curve relies on you drawing 2 early K commands, which is like already a win in most matchups. We're worried about Scion of Draco with Detection Tower. This doesn't let you hit Lotus Field, although it would be really nice if it did. Okay, that's a good draw. So I'll start off by playing Channeler number 2. I think I'd kind of like to just Wildfire after this. Oh, they have a Subtlety, okay. Interesting. So, not the most complicated. My either removal spell kills either creature here, I guess. I suppose we want to Wildfire first, so that we can get value off of more value off of our other 2 spells, Surveils. Should have one more basic. Yeah. Seems better to heat the frogs. We can save some more energy, right? No thanks. I love Channeler. I just love this card so much. Yes, please. Got to be the best card to keep on top, right? flavorful that Dragon Rage's Channeler is so good with Avatar Roku, I guess. So they have no black men available. They've got 2 cards in their hand, drawing to 3, Cling to Dust in the Yard. Fine Smeagol's not being Roku hater. Yeah, I was definitely wrong about the card. It's like it's just hard for me to pivot my mindset to this kind of effect being good at the moment, but it just is a good kind of card to be playing. Why is DRC good with Roku? Well, just in that spot, DRC was really nice to dig for Legend of Roku. I just think it's flavorful that, you know, we're playing both the cards of the same deck because it's a dragon channeler. This guy makes dragons. But also, you know, that like having a low mana curve and being able to filter your top decks is good with this kind of effects. I think I'm not very likely to hardcast the second one next turn. Just play this tapped. What would you say are the tough matchups? I do think Titan is not a good matchup, despite us having all this anti-mana stuff in Magus. I think that play draw is very, like, being on the draw is very tough, and like I don't think they care as much about the fields as you would hope they do. I don't think it's the worst matchup ever, but I think we're unfavored. I think we're unfavored against Storm. We're 2-1 against Prowess at the moment. We'd like to see more reps there. Very cool to be beating up on the Dimir deck. Like usually Frog decks have been a big problemo for mono red stuff like this. They'll just use the mana to sack the Vexing Bauble. I think we're gonna meet some dragons here. Any ideas for Kuruk? Yeah. Well, I'm working on it. I spent a good bit of time trying to build Kuruk decks last night, and I felt that I came kind of close a couple times to building something, but I don't feel like I quite got there. So yeah, this is an ability to 8 mana make a 4/4 dragon with Firebending 4, and then the more dragons you make, the more you can activate this ability. So they're escaping a Cling to Dust. Why is this discharge highlighted? I don't know. Would instant speed artifact destruction help the Titan matchup at all? Doesn't seem like the deck that wants to hold up mana. I mean, I wouldn't say it hurts the matchup, but, you know, one thing about the Titan matchup in general is, like, artifact removal has never been, like, that effective a way to fight amulets in general, but it's fine. The MDFC is always, like, I have to pause for a second to evaluate. I prefer to play against Boros than Prowess here. We haven't played the Boros matchup yet. Okay, cool. Save me Legend of Roku. Could maybe have held the Bauble for a Steel Cutter. Why not Damping Sphere hit Storm Titan? Damping Sphere is not good against Titan. It's like they just played too many Besagus for it to really be an effective tool. It's like, okay, maybe it's good against Titan, but just it isn't as good as Magus is, and the matchup's bad. So I'd rather hedge. I'd rather play like Magus for Titan, which is also a bad matchup, and Titan is like the second or third most popular deck. Then play Damping Sphere, be worse against Titan, and then play a card and play Damping Sphere for a card that's like 1% of the meta or something like that. Opponent has failed to find a land card here. Probably just has all the other lands in their hand. I don't think there's a lot of other explanations here. Maybe just misclicked. If I don't find another 1-drop, it might not matter. Huh. Weird game. Not really in very good shape, though. Yeah, we finally get to board in our Flashfires, though. Yeah, seems like I should go Steel Cutter, Unholy Heat, be a Johnny, instead of playing Roku. Maybe I can try to go Roku into a 1-drop next turn. There's Ragavan, 3 mystery cards. Yeah, presumably one of those cards is a basic. So I'm going to go down to 2 life. Then do they have Kitty's Blessing? 8, 9. Looks like they're 1 short. They flip over a Bauble, which is pretty annoying. Don't think I can live with that many top decks. Oh, the Bauble gives them Kitty's Blessing. Wow. Good play. Right. Game 2. Very weird game. So if they're only playing 2 basics, I don't know if I want to move away from this plan. But kind of tentatively what I wanted to do was board in the anti-flage cards, board in the Flashfires, board in the surgicals, and board in the fire magics and just cut the wildfires. Although I guess I don't like Vexing Bauble very much. I don't like Ragavan very much. It's okay. Ragavan's okay. Definitely better on the play. Maybe we do this on the play, on the draw we play more wildfires. Seems okay. We don't need anti-flage if they can't cast with lands blown up. We still need anti-flage. It's just not quite fast enough to rely on the lands being on blowing up their lands so far. We definitely had this conversation already, and we tried with out a lot of graveyard hate, and you just need to be good against flage. So we're easily keeping our 7 on the play. My opponent is in the tank a little bit here. I'm gonna go Mountain, Dragon Rage's Channel. They surveil a Heath into the yard. All right, not upset with the second Steel Cutter. Great card in the matchup. I can see regretting this. I think that this is a hand that's trying to be more proactive. My opponent also didn't have a 1 mana play. Y'all keeping the fire magic there? I don't think I am. I think I'm discarding this. I think maybe if it was my last surveil I wouldn't, but I think we could dig a little deeper. Probably keep that one. Another tap lamb. We can heat our own thing. Seems like probably something we'd like to do this turn. Yes, please. My one regret is my opponent might. I guess it's not the worst thing if we don't show them that we have Flashfires in our deck. Oh no! Sorry, I killed my own thing. And then let the Prowess trigger resolve. Although the good news is we're more likely to get to Flashfires now. Is Discharge just basically always better than Bolt nowadays, even when you aren't running other energy cards? I mean, in Prowess, you definitely still want to play Bolt. You're just like almost a pure aggro deck, and it's not rocket science there. In this deck that's just trying to be more grindy, more mid-rangey, the presence of like Mutagenic Growth and Psychic Frog being so popular, I do think means you need to play Discharge instead. All right, they're tapping the planes. They're untapping the planes. Just got second and a challenge Prowess, no Bolt. Okay. Yeah, I mean, but just, would you playing Discharge instead? No Bolt's kind of interesting, though. It is kind of the worst card in the deck, huh? Pretty fun. All right, on the draw, Ragavan a lot worse. And I think, you know, they told us game 1 they were only playing 2 basics, so we'll see if that's true or not, I guess. Kind of, I guess, kind of interesting with Flashfires. Like we could Wildfire or Field of Ruin an Arena of Glory, turn it into a Plains, and then Flashfires it. 6-lander, it's mulligan. Or a 5-lander, it's still mulligan. I think I'm gonna try to leverage the fire magic more since I'm on the mulligan. Try to trade here. They flip over a bauble, so we get pretty punished, I guess. They play a pride, we get unpunished. Okay, I guess that about evens out, huh? All right, answer to the little creatures. Answer to Flage. Answer to all their lands. We can try to prioritize the field on the arena here, right? Fire. Now we do get hit by another Ragavan, but I feel like it does make sense not to get pinged by the bombardment, right? All right, I guess we'll field the arena main phase to stop anything hasty happening. Need to dodge Johnny and kind of Ocelot Pride. Ah! Womp womp. Not doing the draw phase build to hope they draw basic. I guess that would be fine. Flip to Johnny Bombard with no lands wins games. I think so. Do you think we have a turn after we cast the Flashfires? Do we have to Unholy Heat the Ajani instead of casting Flashfires? We're taking. They trigger the guide. And I think we have to, which is. Now we need them to have nothing but lands, nothing but love. So this is 4 damage, putting me down to 8, and then another 5, 6, 7, 8. Exactly lethal. Let's go ahead and pack it in here. It's like Flashfires. Ah. Well, I got no red mana. Probably not going to do any keeping. They mulled to 6 as well. You have 3 lands this time around. I guess we'll put back Channeler number 2. We were dead on board if we cast Flashfires instead of hitting the Johnny, i.e. casting Flashfires at earliest opportunity ever. Wrong move. I believe we were dead, or at the very least, like, putting ourselves in a spot where we had no live top decks. Prowess again? So popular today. I do think Flashfires is like still an underused tool in general, like against Blink and Prowess. Not a lot of decks can really utilize it. Maybe when we go back to Is It Wang Chitong, we'll play some Wildfires. So right now we're 2-1 against Prowess. We're playing against it a lot today. Seems like I'd rather play a Steel Cutter than double Channeler into the Lava Dart in the yard. Yeah, Bauble will be pretty good. An iteration. I guess they would have not played the land first if they had iteration, so it's preordained. Yeah, this deck with Wong would be interesting. We played a more controlling Is It build that was playing the Wildfires and Wong. And I was kind of looking at like cutting Counterspell from the deck and like adding Steel Cutter, playing Ragavan DRC to just be more aggressive, kind of like this, but with Juan. Could still figure that out. Like last night I kind of hit a little bit of a wall in the deck building, but it was like it was a good wall to hit where it feels with Airship, Badger Mole, and Wand, there are so many different directions to go. It feels like at this point we've kind of explored the obvious ones, but there's a lot of like less intuitive and a little bit more weird. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Or yeah, there's a lot of we can get weird with it. We can get really weird with it, and I'd like to. I'd like to get really weird with it. I'm gonna flashback the dart. Probably want a Sundering Eruption instead for the unblockable. Also, not gonna get to 5 mana probably this game. Yeah, we'll just wreck with 1. I mean, there's something there. I think you're not. I told myself I wasn't gonna fiddle with this. It's a little bit harder to build. Where maybe you just need to be banned with Path to Exile. A good time to be playing a lot of basics, I think. I'm gonna graveyard this to get 1 closer to Delirium. And then maybe I want to keep this to try to like cantrip into another spell. I feel like I'm just gonna graveyard it. It's just not a very good draw. I'm at 8. They're at 13. They have 1 card in their hands. They surveilled an expressive iteration into their graveyard, which is pretty bad. We probably just have to leave these back. Teamer Wreck with Wildfire Wand. I guess it feels like the Wildfires aren't very good with Wreck. Like anything that cantrips at not at instant speeds, a kind of a yikes. Wand feels overrated. Maybe. So they exile a show off to iteration, so that's gone. I guess I'm gonna double block. Yeah, one might have been overrated. I think I still like the card a lot. I think it's very good in the Dimir deck. I've really liked it a lot in the Dimir deck. So I guess their hand's all 2 drops. We attack. Have I tried Zal the Moonslayer yet? No, I don't think that card's great. I think we could maybe try it and it might impress us a little bit, but it's not really high on my to-do list. Overrated but still good. Yeah, I mean, 1 is definitely a playable modern card. Might have been better to play this so we don't have to bolt if we draw Legend of Roku. They graveyard a Bauble. I feel like they have a show off in their hand. I don't know what the other card is. Yeah, I was wrong. So I think I'm gonna have to kill this and not go down to 3 and be dead to a top deck bolts. Price of Freedom to kill their Steel Cutter could be good, but they are also top decking. I'm not going to bolt myself and be dead to darts to cast this, although we now officially get punished for not playing this tapped last turn. They're top decking. They might feel silly for graveyarding that iteration earlier. I think that was probably just wrong. People talking about Zal as an Amulet Titan answer. I never felt more alive when I got to tell them it's at best ignorable and at worst actively helps it. Yeah, it's funny. I've been in the one is overrated camp this whole time. I know I'm a hater, but the boys have been buying into owl propaganda. Defeated by the owl haters. They plot the show off to try to get their second spell, I guess. This mic stand's been so annoying today. All right, I guess we're holding up the Sokenzan channel to block the Steel Cutter. They cast the show off. They got 1 card in their hand. Is it a spell? It is a spell. Maybe one of the better spells we could see. Still in bad shape. So we could go Legend of Roku into removal spell. We could go Path to Victory, kill the Steel Cutter into removal spell. Game 2. Could also go to game 2. I haven't been boarding into Fire Magics. I think I kind of have regretted not boarding in Fire Magics. The Vexing Baubles have been pretty good. But yeah, I think I'm just going to down 3 Wildfires for 3 Magics here. 4th time. I've joined the stream and see you play Brass Prowess. Mike falling over. Yeah, we're on a replay today. We're on a loop. Pre-recorded. You're the first to notice. Yeah, it's our 4th match against Prowess. And the mic's been falling over all day. Sudden Eruption seems real rough when you're behind. At least the other 2 spells can't trip. I mean, this one is a land. It's just like replacing a mountain in the deck. Don't think it can be too hard on Sundering Eruption. In fact, a lot of times it's just like, you know, when you get your opponent to the point where they have no basics, which happens often, just a land being a Stone Rain is so nice. All right, let's keep this on the play. Fruitcake with 39 months. Thank you. Welcome back. You know, basic mountain is also real rough when you're behind. Keeping that on top, even if it punishes us some for playing out the bauble. Any hope for a Steel Seeker comeback? Not a very good one, probably. It should try something with weapons and Salvage Titan. I mean, you could just do that normal affinity. We played some Salvage Titan with Steel Seeker back when we were working on that card. It was never really that big a deal. Interesting that they didn't kill the Channeler yet. Like, usually just want to deny the Surveils. Right, there they go. Right, pretty flooded. Have a second Bauble. I didn't have a second Bauble. We do have a Price of Freedom to kill their Steel Cutter, though. Does ramp them. Eruption should also let you draw a card. I don't think so. I think it's a land. Come on. All right, just gonna do this so we can get our token. I get the love for Pinnacle Monk. I played it in a set. Blue-red Lamplight combo with Riddler Blink stuff. Ooh, Riddler does help Lamplight combo. They have a second Steel Cutter. I guess we're pretty screwed. Got pretty flooded this game. We've got 6 lands. Yeah, I've cast Monk a few times. It's been pretty good. Might pivot to one of the backup decks. Where they're upkeep darting? Oh, there's to get the extra Monk token. So I guess if I draw Fire Magic here, we could get out of this. Oh, they're going to have another dart in the yard, so I guess not. So I think it might be about time to get kind of weird. Yeah, I think deck's looking good. 2-2 against Prowess is whatever. Don't feel too bad about losing to like the Flood. But we got a nice 4-1. I feel like we found a playable version of the deck. I feel like we found a good home for Legend of Roku. Legend of Roku is also good enough that I would like to continue playing that card too. Be kind of interesting in a Badger Mole Cub deck because of the mana sink potential. But I think it's time to play our Weirdest Brew from Avatar. We haven't got around to this one yet. It's kind of similar to this one, so I feel like it's an okay time to play it.